Elena Morrison, what the hell did I tell you about sitting there? The white woman stormed across the cafeteria. Her heels clicked like gunshots on the tile floor. Mrs. Kensington, I'm sorry. I just sorry. You think sorry cuts it? The woman grabbed the girl's arm, twisted it hard. These tables are for real families. Families who pay real money, not charity cases like you. She yanked the 12-year-old out of her seat. The lunch tray crashed to the floor. Food splattered everywhere. Laughter erupted from nearby tables. Please, my dad pays the same. Your dad? The woman shoved her toward the corner. Your daddy is probably some welfare leech who lied on your application. Now get back there with the rest of the diversity hires before I have you expelled. A man appeared in the doorway. Brown paper bag dangling from frozen fingers. His mouth opened. No sound came out. He watched his daughter stumble toward a dark corner, head down, shoulders shaking. Have you ever discovered your child was living a nightmare you knew nothing about? 6 hours earlier, Marcus Morrison sat in his office in Capitol Heights. Papers covered every surface of his desk. Budget reports, reform proposals, investigation files. The brass name plate on his door read simple words. Secretary of Education, United States Department of Education. 3 months in this position. 3 months of 14-hour days. 3 months trying to fix a broken system from the top down. His phone buzzed. A reminder popped up on the screen. Elena's birthday. 12 years old today. Marcus leaned back in his leather chair. When did his daughter turn 12? When did he last have breakfast with her? Last week? 2 weeks ago? He scrolled through his messages. Elena's texts were always the same. Short, cheerful. School's good, Dad. Don't worry about me. Focus on your work. His assistant knocked on the door. Sir, the conference call with the governor starts in 5 minutes. Marcus stared at the reminder on his phone. Elena's smiling face looked back at him from his lock screen. That photo was from last year. Her first day at Riverside Academy. She wore her new uniform. Pride radiated from her eyes. He'd chosen Riverside carefully. Best private school in the state. $45,000 a year, worth every penny for the inclusive, progressive environment they promised. Their brochure showed diverse students laughing together, learning together, thriving together. Elena deserved that. After her mother died 3 years ago, Elena deserved every good thing this world could offer. Cancel the call, Marcus said suddenly. His assistant blinked. Sir, cancel it. Reschedule for tomorrow. He grabbed his coat. I'm going to see my daughter. The drive from Capitol Heights to Riverside took 2 hours. Marcus spent the first 30 minutes on calls, policy discussions, budget negotiations, the usual chaos. Then he turned off his phone, rolled down the windows, let the spring air fill the car. He thought about Elena's voice last night on their call. She'd sounded tired, distant. When he asked if everything was okay, she said yes, always yes. But something in her tone made him pause. A hesitation, a catch in her breath. He'd let it go. Told himself she was probably just exhausted from schoolwork, from adjusting to a new environment. Now that hesitation gnawed at him. Marcus pulled into a deli near the school. The same place he and Elena used to go before her mother passed. Their special spot. He ordered 2 sandwiches. Turkey and Swiss. Extra pickles. Elena's favorite. The woman behind the counter smiled. Haven't seen you in a while. Work. Marcus said too much work. She'll be happy to see you, would she? He'd been so absent lately, so consumed by his mission to reform education nationwide, so focused on helping millions of children he barely knew. He'd forgotten to show up for the one child who mattered most. Marcus parked in the visitor lot at Riverside Academy. The building rose before him like a monument to wealth. Stone columns, manicured lawns, a fountain in the center courtyard. He walked to the front office, showed his ID, not his federal credentials, just his driver's license. Marcus Morrison, Elena's father, regular parent. The secretary barely looked up. Sign in here. Visitor badge. You know where the cafeteria is? Yes, thank you. She handed him a sticker badge, generic yellow. Visitor printed in bold letters. Marcus walked through the halls. Marble floors, dark wood panels, photos of distinguished alumni lined the walls, all white faces, century after century of privilege staring down at him. He pushed the thought away. This was a good school. They'd accepted Elena. They'd promised an opportunity, equality, excellence. The cafeteria doors appeared ahead. Sounds of laughter and conversation drifted through. Normal, happy, safe. Marcus smiled. He'd surprise Elena. They'd eat lunch together. Maybe he'd take her out early, spend the afternoon together, make up for lost time. He adjusted the paper bag in his hand, pushed open the door, and saw his daughter's face crumple as a white woman grabbed her arm, saw her stumble, saw milk hit the floor, saw tears streak down her cheeks, heard the words, scholarship trash, diversity quota. You people. The bag slipped from his fingers, hit the ground with a soft thud nobody else heard because everyone was watching Elena, watching her humiliation. Some laughing, some recording on their phones, some just staring, silent, complicit. Marcus couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't process what his eyes were showing him. This was the school he'd chosen, the school he trusted, the school paid $45,000 a year to keep his daughter safe. Marcus stood paralyzed. His brain struggled to connect what he saw with where he was. This couldn't be Riverside Academy. The school with the glossy brochures, the diversity awards on their website, the testimonials from happy families. This couldn't be real. Elena picked herself up from the floor. Milk soaked into her uniform. The white woman towered over her, arms crossed, face twisted with disgust. Clean that up now. Yes, Mrs. Kensington. Elena knelt, started gathering pieces of her lunch tray. Her hands shook. Other students walked past, stepped over her. Some laughed. One kicked a piece of bread further away. Marcus's feet moved forward, then stopped. Wait, look. Understand what's happening here. He stepped to the side, positioned himself behind a support column, pulled out his phone, started recording. The cafeteria layout revealed itself slowly like a curtain pulling back on a stage. Center tables, large cushioned chairs, good lighting from the tall windows. Maybe 40 students sat there laughing, eating, relaxed. Every single one of them white far corner near the kitchen entrance, near the trash bins and the loading dock door. Hard wooden benches, fluorescent lights that buzzed and flickered. 7 students, all black or Latino, heads down, eating quickly, trying to be invisible. A wall ran down the invisible middle of the room. Not physical, but absolutely. Marcus's chest tightened. How did he not know? How did he not see? Elena finished cleaning. She carried her ruined lunch toward the corner section, toward the shadows. A group of white girls stood up as she approached. The one in front crossed her arms. Chelsea Kensington. He recognized her from parent orientation. Rebecca Kensington's granddaughter. Watch where you're going, scholarship girl. Sorry, you just need to remember your place. Chelsea shoved Elena's shoulder. My grandmother runs this cafeteria. She says you people should eat outside with the garbage. Laughter rippled through nearby tables. Phones came out, started recording. This was entertainment. Elena kept her head down, moved past them, sat at the end of a bench alone. Even the other students of color kept their distance like her humiliation might be contagious. Marcus's finger pressed harder on the record button. His other hand gripped the column, knuckles white. A young teacher walked past Elena. Mid-20s, Latina. She glanced at Elena's tear-stained face. Her eyes held something. Sympathy. Guilt. She kept walking. Another teacher, older white man with gray hair. He stood 10 feet from where Chelsea had shoved Elena. He'd seen everything, done nothing. Now he chatted with other teachers, laughed at something someone said. The system wasn't broken here. It was working exactly as designed. Rebecca Kensington emerged from the kitchen area. She surveyed her domain like a general inspecting troops. Her gaze swept across the center tables, nodded with satisfaction, then landed on the corner. She marched over. Her sensible shoes struck the floor with authority. Elena Morrison. Elena jumped, looked up. Yes, ma'am. Did you try to sit at a premium table again? I just thought maybe you thought wrong. Rebecca grabbed the girl's chin, forced her to look up. How many times do I have to explain this? Those tables are reserved for families who contribute. Real families, not affirmative action cases. My dad pays the same tuition as the slap echoed through the cafeteria. Not hard enough to leave a mark, but hard enough to sting. Hard enough to shock. Hard enough to establish dominance. Conversation stopped. Students turned to watch. Rebecca leaned down, her face inches from Elena's. Don't you dare talk back to me. Your kind gets in here through quotas, through pity. You want to sit at the good tables? Tell your daddy to donate a building. Until then, you eat where I tell you to eat. Elena's bottom lip trembled. She bit down on it, trying not to cry again, trying to hold together whatever dignity she had left. Marcus's vision blurred. Red crept in from the edges. His daughter, his baby girl, taking abuse from this woman. He started forward, stopped himself again. No. Get it all. Make sure there's no doubt. No way for them to deny it. No way for them to explain it away. A Latino boy, maybe 13, raised his hand at a nearby table. Mrs. Kensington, may I get more water? Rebecca didn't even look at him. You had your chance during your designated refill time. Sit down. But I'm really thirsty. I have soccer practice after. I said sit down. Rebecca's voice cracked like a whip. You diversity students get 1 water refill. 1. If you can't manage that, bring water from home. The boy lowered his hand, sat back down, defeated. Marcus watched a white student get up, walk to the water fountain, fill his bottle, walk back. Nobody said a word to him. 2 minutes later, another white student did the same thing. Then another. The rules weren't rules. They were weapons applied selectively designed to remind certain students they didn't belong. A black girl, maybe 14, stood up with her empty tray, started walking toward the trash bins near the center tables, the shortest path. Rebecca materialized in front of her like a security guard. "Where do you think you're going to throw away my trash?" "Ma'am, not through here." "You're not. Scholarship students use the bins by the back door." "But that's all the way." Did I stutter? Rebecca pointed. "Back door." Now before I write you up for insubordination, the girl turned around, walked the long way, past the kitchen, past the loading dock, to throw away trash in a bin that was probably 50 yards from where she started. Marcus's phone timer showed 12 minutes of footage. 12 minutes of systematic, deliberate, cruel discrimination. And Elena sat through this every single day. How long? How many months? She started at Riverside in September. It was now April. 7 months. 7 months of eating lunch in a corner. Of being shoved, of being slapped, of being reminded she didn't belong. 7 months of coming home and saying, "School's good, Dad." 7 months of protecting him from the truth. His baby girl, his brave, beautiful baby girl, carrying this weight alone because she didn't want to burden him. Didn't want to distract him from his important work. What kind of father was he? Rebecca walked back to the center of the cafeteria. She clapped her hands twice, sharp, commanding. "Attention, attention, everyone." Students quieted down, all eyes on her. "I want to remind you all of the cafeteria standards at Riverside Academy. This is an institution built on excellence, built by families who value quality, who value tradition." She gestured toward the center tables. "These families have contributed millions to make this school great. They deserve premium treatment." She turned, pointed directly at the corner, at Elena, at the other students of color. "And these students, they're here because the government forces us to hit diversity numbers, because we have to check boxes to keep our funding. But make no mistake, there is a hierarchy here. There is an order, and everyone needs to respect it." A few parents sitting at volunteer tables nodded. One woman actually clapped. Rebecca's eyes landed on Elena again. Some people don't understand their place. Some people think they can just sit anywhere, do anything, act like they're equal to students whose families actually built this place. She walked over, stood directly over Elena. "But they're not equal, are they, Elena?" Elena stared at her lap, silent. "I asked you a question. Are you equal to the real Riverside students?" "No, ma'am." The words came out broken, barely audible. Louder so everyone can hear. "No, ma'am." Tears dripped onto Elena's skirt. "That's right. You're not, and you never will be." Rebecca straightened up, smiled, satisfied with her lesson. She turned and walked back toward the kitchen. Marcus's hands shook. The phone nearly slipped from his grip. 17 minutes of footage now. 17 minutes of his daughter being destroyed piece by piece. Enough. Enough evidence. Enough observation. Enough restraint. He stepped out from behind the column, placed the phone in his jacket pocket, still recording. Audio would capture everything now. He walked across the cafeteria. His footsteps seemed impossibly loud. Students turned to look. Conversations faltered. Something in his expression made people nervous. He reached Elena's table, placed his hand gently on her shoulder. She looked up. Her eyes went wide. "Dad." Her face transformed. Relief crashed into terror. Happy he was here. Terrified of what it meant. "Hi, baby." His voice stayed calm, controlled. I brought you lunch. Rebecca noticed him now, turned, walked back over. Her expression shifted from surprise to annoyance. And who are you? Marcus looked at her. Really? Looked at her, memorized her face. This woman who hurt his child. This woman was about to learn what justice felt like. I'm Elena's father and we need to talk about what you've been doing to my daughter. Rebecca's eyes narrowed. She looked Marcus up and down, dismissed him in a single glance. Your daughter has been repeatedly violating cafeteria protocols. She refuses to follow simple instructions about seating arrangements. Seating arrangements? Marcus's voice stayed level. You mean segregation? Gasps rippled through nearby tables. The word hung in the air like smoke. Rebecca's face flushed red. How dare you? This is about maintaining order, about respecting the families who fund this institution. Your daughter sits where scholarship students sit. That's policy. My daughter isn't on scholarship. I pay full tuition, $45,000. I've reviewed every file in this cafeteria. Rebecca crossed her arms. Elena Morrison. Diversity admission. Accepted through the Equity Initiative, which means scholarship, which means she follows scholarship rules. Diversity admission doesn't mean scholarship. She earned her spot and I pay full freight. Rebecca laughed, sharp, mocking. Sure you do. And I'm supposed to believe a man who shows up in a cheap suit and drives a 10-year-old sedan pays 45 grand. Please. Elena tugged on Marcus's sleeve. Dad, let's just go. Please. He squeezed her hand. Not yet, baby. Rebecca stepped closer, invaded his space. Listen to me very carefully. I don't know what story you told admissions. I don't care. But in my cafeteria, there are rules. Premium donors get premium treatment. Your kind gets what's left over. Don't like it? There's the door. My kind. Marcus's jaw tightened. Oh, don't start with the race card. Rebecca rolled her eyes. I'm talking about income, about contribution, about people who actually matter to this school's success versus people who are here to make us look diverse in the brochures. A white man in a suit approached. Late 50s, gray hair. Principal Thomas Bradford. Marcus recognized him from orientation. Is there a problem here, Rebecca? This man is disrupting lunch service, harassing staff, making baseless accusations. Bradford turned to Marcus. Didn't ask for his side. Didn't ask what happened. Just frowned. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave campus. I'm asking why my daughter is being segregated and abused. Segregated? Bradford's voice dripped with condescension. That's a serious allegation. Do you have any evidence to support such a claim? Marcus patted his jacket pocket. Yes, I do. Let me see it. No, not yet. Bradford's expression hardened. Then I'm afraid you need to leave now before I have security remove you. I have a right to know why my daughter is being mistreated. Your daughter isn't being mistreated. Bradford gestured around the cafeteria. She's eating lunch in a safe, clean environment. If you have complaints about seating arrangements, you can schedule a formal meeting with my office, but you will not storm in here during lunch service and cause a scene. Rebecca stepped forward again, emboldened by Bradford's support. Do you know how many calls I get from parents complaining about diversity students? Dozens. They pay premium prices and don't want their children sitting next to charity cases. We have to balance everyone's needs by making 12-year-olds eat next to garbage bins. That corner has the same food, the same tables, the same access to education as everywhere else. If your daughter feels excluded, that's a personal problem, not a school problem. Elena started crying harder. Her shoulders shook. Other students stared. Some recorded on phones. This was content, drama, entertainment. Marcus knelt beside his daughter. "Baby, look at me. We're going to fix this. Dad, please. I just want to go home." Rebecca's voice cut through. "Actually, she's not going anywhere. It's school hours. Students can't leave without proper authorization." Marcus stood. "I'm her father. I'm taking her home. Not without filling out an early dismissal form. Not without approval from the administration." Rebecca pulled out her phone. "In fact, given your hostile behavior, I'm calling security." "Hostile behavior?" "I asked questions about discrimination. You're aggressive, confrontational, your body language is threatening." Rebecca spoke into her phone. "Security to the cafeteria. We have a potentially dangerous situation." "Dangerous?" Marcus's voice rose for the first time. "I'm standing here talking." Bradford held up his hand. "Up, sir. You need to calm down. Your escalating tone is exactly what we're concerned about." "My escalating tone? Your staff is segregating children, and you're worried about my tone." 2 security guards arrived, both white, both are large. They positioned themselves on either side of Marcus. "Mr. Morrison, I'm going to ask you one more time to leave voluntarily." Bradford's voice went cold. "Professional practiced. If you refuse, these gentlemen will escort you out and we will file a no trespass order." "A no trespass order for asking why my daughter is being discriminated against, for causing a disturbance, for refusing to follow school protocols, for creating an unsafe environment." Rebecca jumped in. "And given your aggressive behavior, we'll need to review Elena's enrollment. We can't have parents who threaten staff, who create hostile situations. That violates our code of conduct." Elena grabbed Marcus's arm. "Dad, no. Please. They'll expel me. Please, just go. Just I'll be okay." "You won't be okay. This isn't okay. I'll deal with it. I have been dealing with it. Please don't make it worse." Marcus's heart shattered. His daughter was begging him to leave her in this nightmare, to walk away, to let it continue, because she was more afraid of being expelled than she was of being abused. Bradford nodded to the security guards. "Gentlemen, please escort Mr. Morrison off campus." The guards moved in, grabbed Marcus's arms. "Not gently, hard enough to bruise. Get your hands off me. Don't resist, sir. This will be easier if you cooperate." Rebecca stood back, arms crossed, smiling. "You should have known your place. Should have taught your daughter to know hers. But no, you people always think rules don't apply to you. You people." Marcus stopped struggling. "Let the words hang there. Say that again slowly." Rebecca's smile widened. "You people, the ones who get in through quotas, through forced diversity, the ones who don't contribute, who don't belong, who drag down our standards just by being here." The guards pulled Marcus backward toward the exit. Students watched, some laughed. Chelsea Kensington stood with her friends recording everything. "This is going straight to TikTok. Scholarship dad gets owned." Bradford walked beside the guards. "Mr. Morrison, You are now banned from this campus. Any further attempts to enter will result in immediate arrest for criminal trespass. Additionally, we will be reviewing Elena's enrollment status. Given her family's inability to respect school authority, we may determine this isn't the right fit. Marcus's feet dragged. The guards pulled harder. Elena followed, crying. Please don't expel me. Please, this is the only good school. If I get expelled, my record, Rebecca called after them. Maybe you should have thought about that before your father came in here acting like a thug. Actions have consequences, sweetheart. You're about to learn that lesson. They reached the cafeteria exit. The guards shoved Marcus through. Not hard enough to make him fall, but hard enough to humiliate him. Other parents watched from volunteer tables. Some looked uncomfortable. Most looked satisfied. Order restored. Troublemaker removed. Problem solved. Bradford stood in the doorway, blocking Elena from following. Miss Morrison, return to your seat. Finish your lunch. We'll discuss your behavioral issues later. But my dad, your father is no longer your concern right now. School policy is your concern. Now go sit down before I add insubordination to the list of problems we're documenting. Elena looked at Marcus. Her eyes pleaded for help, for rescue, for anything. He couldn't give it to her. Not yet. Elena, listen to me. Go back inside. Sit down. Keep your head up. Everything is about to change. I promise you. How? They're kicking you out. They're going to expel me. Trust me, baby. One more hour. Just hold on for one more hour. Bradford pulled Elena back inside. Slammed the door. The lock clicked. Marcus stood in the parking lot. The guards flanked him until he reached his car. You heard the principal. You're not welcome here. Don't come back. Marcus opened his car door, sat down, pulled out his phone. The recording was still running. 28 minutes of footage, clear audio, undeniable evidence. He scrolled through his contacts, made his first call. FBI Civil Rights Division. This is Secretary Marcus Morrison. I need to activate an emergency federal investigation. I have documentation of systematic civil rights violations at a federally funded institution. I need a team at Riverside Academy in 30 minutes. Sir, can you verify your identity? Marcus recited his federal ID number, his authorization code, his direct line to the director. Verified, Mr. Secretary. Dispatching team now. What's the nature of the violations? Racial segregation. Systematic discrimination against minor children, hostile environment, federal fund misappropriation, and assault on a federal official. Sir, did you say assault on a federal official? Yes. They put their hands on me, forcibly removed me, all captured on video. I want federal charges filed within the hour. Understood, sir. Team is mobilizing. Marcus made his second call. Department of Justice. His third call, Deputy Secretary of Education. His fourth call, White House Counsel. His fifth call, the media. Then he started his car, drove exactly 1 block, parked where he could see the school entrance, and waited. Rebecca Kensington returned to the cafeteria, triumphant, glowing. She clapped her hands twice. Attention. Attention everyone. Students looked up. Teachers turned. I want you all to witness what happens when people don't respect authority. When they don't know their place. She pointed toward Elena's corner. That girl's father just got permanently banned from this campus and her enrollment is under review. Let this be a lesson. Riverside has standards. We don't tolerate troublemakers. Scattered applause from the center tables. Chelsea Kensington hooped, "Bye-bye, scholarship girl." Elena sat frozen. Tears streamed down her face, silent now, broken. Rebecca walked over, leaned down. Your father should have taught you better. Should have taught you to be grateful for what you have. Now you'll probably lose it all. Such a shame. Principal Bradford entered, joined Rebecca. They spoke in low tones, both smiling. Crisis averted. Order maintained. Bradford pulled out his phone, started typing. I'm drafting the expulsion letter now. We'll cite parental misconduct, hostile family environment, threat to campus safety. Make sure it's airtight, Rebecca said. I don't want any appeals. I want her gone by Monday. Done. I'll have a legal review of it this afternoon. They high-fived. Actually high-fived. Two adults celebrating the destruction of a child's future. Outside, a sound grew. Distant at first, then louder, rhythmic, mechanical. Whomp 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 whomp. Students rushed to the windows, pointed at the sky. A helicopter descended toward the athletic field. Black, unmarked, official. Then another sound. Sirens. Multiple vehicles. The parking lot was filled with SUVs, dark sedans, lights flashing. Rebecca frowned, walked to the window. What on earth? Cars screeched to stops. Doors flew open. Men and women in dark suits emerged. Dozens of them. White letters on their backs. FBI, DOJ. Is this some kind of drill? Bradford's face went pale. More vehicles arrived. Local news vans, cameras, reporters setting up on the lawn. The cafeteria doors burst open. 15 federal agents entered. Tactical vests, weapons holstered but visible. They moved with military precision, positioned themselves at every exit. An agent in front held up credentials. FBI. Everyone remains calm. Stay seated. This is an official federal investigation. Rebecca's mouth fell open. Investigation of what? Who called you? Ma'am, we'll explain shortly. Right now, we need Principal Bradford and Rebecca Kensington to come with us. Bradford stepped forward. I'm Principal Bradford. There must be some mistake. We're a private educational institution. We haven't. No mistake, sir. Please come with us to your office now. The agents weren't asking, they were commanding. Rebecca and Bradford exchanged glances, confused, nervous. But I'm still confident, still believing their authority meant something. They walked toward the main office. Agents surrounded them, flanked them like suspects. The office door opened. More agents inside. They'd already secured the space. Computers, files, everything. And sitting in Bradford's chair, calm as Sunday morning, was Marcus Morrison. Rebecca's eyes went wide. You. How did you sit down, Mrs. Kensington? I will not. Security. Get this man out of my. An agent stepped forward. Ma'am, sit down. The command in his voice left no room for argument. Rebecca sat. Bradford collapsed into the other chair. His hands shook. Marcus stood, reached into his jacket, pulled out a leather credential case. He placed it on the desk, opened it. The federal seal gleamed under the fluorescent lights. United States Department of Education, Office of the Secretary, Marcus Morrison. The words hit like bullets. Rebecca's face was drained of color, white, then gray. She gripped the armrests of her chair. Secretary, you're the Secretary of Education. Yes. The person who controls every federal dollar that flows into this institution. Bradford made a choking sound. His eyes rolled back. He slumped forward. An agent caught him before he hit the desk. Someone get him water, the lead FBI agent said. And a medic if he doesn't come around. Rebecca stared at the badge, Marcus, at the agent surrounding them. Her mouth moved, but no sound came out. Marcus pulled out his phone, connected it to Bradford's computer. The large monitor on the wall flickered to life. I'm going to show you something I want you to watch carefully. The video played, crystal clear, perfect audio. Rebecca's voice echoed through the office. Elena Morrison, get back to the scholarship section. Her grabbing Elena's arm, the slap, the shove. Your kind gets in here through quotas, through pity. Every word, every action, 28 minutes of footage. Rebecca shook her head. That's not I didn't mean it's out of context. Out of context? Marcus's voice stayed eerily calm. Which part? The part where you hit my daughter? The part where you called us you people? The part where you threatened to destroy her future? Bradford came, saw the video, saw himself standing there, doing nothing, then ordering Marcus removed. Oh God. Oh my God. Let me tell you what's happening right now. Marcus said, as we speak, your federal funding is being frozen. $12 million gone. Rebecca gasped. You can't. I can. And I did 30 minutes ago. He turned to the FBI agent. Agent Peterson, please read them their rights. Wait. Rebecca shot to her feet. An agent pushed her back down. Wait. Please. I didn't know who you were. If I'd known. If you'd known, you would have what? Treated my daughter like a human being. Only treated her with dignity because her father has power. Marcus leaned forward. That's exactly the problem, Mrs. Kensington. Agent Peterson stepped forward. Rebecca Kensington, Thomas Bradford, you're both under arrest for violation of federal civil rights law, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You have the right to remain silent. Rebecca's face crumpled. Tears started. Real ones now. Not righteous anger, pure terror. Please, please. I have grandchildren here. I've worked here for 30 years. I'll lose my pension, my reputation, everything. Marcus thought of Elena's face, her tears, her begging him to leave so she wouldn't get expelled. You should have thought about that before you hurt children. Agent Peterson pulled out handcuffs. The metal clicked around Rebecca's wrists, then Bradford's. No, no, please. Not in front of everyone, please. But the agents led them out through the main office, into the hallway where students and teachers watched through windows, past the cafeteria where Elena sat, still frozen, still not understanding, out the front doors where cameras waited, where the world was watching. Rebecca Kensington, handcuffed, crying, destroyed, exactly as she deserved. The FBI vehicle pulled away. Rebecca and Bradford sat in the back seat, handcuffed, crying. Cameras captured everything. Students pressed against windows, phones recorded. The video would be viral within the hour. Marcus stood on the front steps. Deputy Secretary Angela Reed arrived in a black sedan. She'd driven from Capitol Heights the moment he called. "Mr. Secretary, the building is secure. Federal oversight is active. Convene emergency assembly." Everyone, 15 minutes inside the cafeteria, chaos erupted. Teachers couldn't control students. Questions flew. Accusations. Panic. Elena sat frozen in her corner. A young Latina teacher knelt beside her. "Miss Santos. Honey, is that man really your father? The Secretary of Education?" Elena nodded, couldn't speak. "Oh, God. I should have helped you. I'm so sorry." Other students backed away from Elena's table. The girl they'd mocked now held power. Real power. Federal power. Chelsea Kensington frantically texted her grandmother. No response. Called voicemail. Her hands shook. Her friends whispered, "Your grandma got arrested. We're screwed. Delete your videos." Too late. The FBI had already subpoenaed the school's servers. Every post, every video, every text, all evidence. Now the PA system crackled. All students and staff went to the gymnasium immediately. Mandatory assembly. The gym filled within minutes. 450 students, 60 staff members, federal agents lined the walls, silent, professional, intimidating. Marcus entered. Deputy Secretary Reed beside him. 3 FBI agents followed. Complete silence fell. Marcus walked to center court. No microphone needed. His voice carried. "My name is Marcus Morrison, United States Secretary of Education. Elena Morrison's father." Gasps rippled through the crowd. "This morning, I came to bring my daughter lunch. Instead, I witnessed federal crimes, civil rights violations, child abuse." He connected his phone to the projection system. The video filled the massive screen. Rebecca's voice boomed. "Scholarship trash doesn't sit at premium tables. The slap, the shove, the cruelty." 28 minutes played. Students watched themselves, their teachers, their administrators, the system they'd normalized. Some cried, some looked away, some vomited. The video ended. Silence crushed the room. Rebecca Kensington and Principal Bradford are now in federal custody. They face 5 to 10 years in prison for civil rights violations. A girl collapsed. Teachers caught her. Every staff member who witnessed discrimination will be interviewed by the FBI. Every student who participated faces disciplinary action. Every parent who supports this faces questions. Marcus's eyes swept the crowd. This school received $12 million in federal funding last year. Money that came with legal requirements, equal treatment, equal access, equal dignity. He paused. "You violated every single requirement. Your funding is frozen. If we find misappropriation, administrators face fraud charges. If we confirm systematic discrimination, you lose accreditation. This school could close permanently." Teachers sobbed. Careers ending. Reputations destroyed. But first, right now, today, Marcus pointed to Elena. Every student who was segregated and abused will receive a public apology. Deputy Secretary Reed stepped forward. Students of color who experienced discrimination come to center court. 14 students moved forward slowly. Years of being told to stay back made this surreal. Elena walked with them. All ages, all carrying the same pain. Marcus addressed the crowd. Look at them. These children came here to learn, to grow. You destroyed them daily, systematically. He knelt before Elena. Baby, I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't know. Sorry I didn't see. Sorry I failed to protect you. Elena collapsed into his arms. Months of pain exploded. Months of silence. Months of shame that was never hers. I've got you now. Nobody will hurt you again. The gymnasium erupted. Not applause, crying, guilt, realization. Marcus stood. Addressed the school. Starting today, everything changes. The new administration takes over tomorrow. Federal monitors will be present daily. Every policy will be reviewed. Every practice is examined. He looked at the staff. Those of you who stayed silent, who looked away, who enabled this, you have one chance. Cooperate fully with investigators. Tell the truth. Help us understand how this happened or face charges as accessories. He looked at the students. Those who participated in harassment. You'll complete mandatory counseling, community service, write formal apologies. Your college applications will include documentation of this incident and your remediation. Finally, he looked at the 14 students standing beside Elena. And these young people, they'll receive full scholarships, counseling support, academic assistance, everything this school should have provided from day one. He turned to leave, stopped, looked back. One more thing, the cafeteria segregation ends today permanently. Anyone who attempts to enforce it answers to the FBI. Marcus took Elena's hand, led her out of the gymnasium. Past silent students, past crying teachers, past the system that broke her, into sunlight, into freedom, into justice. The FBI investigation exploded within 48 hours. Agents interviewed 217 people, students, parents, former employees. The stories poured out like a broken dam. Angela Reed sat in FBI headquarters. Files covered every surface. An agent dropped another folder on the stack. Former student, graduated 5 years ago. Same abuse. Same Rebecca Kensington. Angela read the transcript. Her stomach turned. How far back does this go? 12 years, maybe longer. 12 years of children traumatized. 12 years of systematic cruelty. The Department of Justice assigned lead prosecutor Victoria Chen. She'd handled civil rights cases for 20 years. Never saw evidence this clear. They documented their own crimes. Victoria held up a journal. Rebecca's discipline log. Listen to this. She read aloud. Removed 3 diversity students from premium seating today. They need constant reminders of their place. If we don't maintain standards, these people will think they belong everywhere. Her team sat stunned. She wrote it down, dated it, signed it. Internal emails surfaced during discovery. Bradford to Rebecca. Board asking questions about diversity funding. Keep scholarship students visible in photos but separated in practice. Donors complaining about too much mixing. Rebecca's response. Understood. Good families shouldn't tolerate integration during lunch. That's what they pay for. A financial audit revealed massive fraud. Riverside claimed 52 diversity students for federal funding. Actual number 15. Where did the $9.4 million go? Administrator bonuses. Facility upgrades for donor wings. Nothing for students. It was meant to serve. New charges filed. Wire fraud. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. False statements to federal agencies. Bail set at $500,000 each. Neither could pay. Federal detention. Rebecca's first lawyer quit after 2 weeks. I can't defend this. She wrote down her crimes. The second lawyer lasted a month. Every day, another victim comes forward. We're drowning. The trial began 6 months later. Federal courthouse, media everywhere, national attention. 17 families joined as plaintiffs, seeking damages, seeking justice, seeking acknowledgement. First witness, Elena Morrison. She walked to the stand. 13 now, taller, stronger, still carrying weight. Prosecutor Victoria Chin approached gently. Elena, tell the jury about your first day at Riverside. Elena described the excitement. New uniform, hope. Then lunch. Rebecca grabbed her arm, being shoved to the corner. Called scholarship trash. I didn't tell my dad because I thought it was my fault. I thought if I worked harder, was quieter, smaller, maybe they'd let me sit with everyone else. Did that work? No. It got worse. Rebecca made examples of us, called us out publicly, reminded everyone we didn't belong. Tears streamed down her face. The worst part wasn't the words. It was watching teachers do nothing, watching parents agree, realizing the whole system was built to hurt us. Rebecca stared at her lap, wouldn't look up. Elena testified for 3 hours. The jury cried openly. Next witness, Carlos Ramirez, 15, Latino. Rebecca wouldn't let me use the bathroom during lunch. Said diversity students had designated times. I had to wait 90 minutes. I wet myself. She made me clean it up while everyone watched. He broke down. I transferred schools. I still have nightmares. 14 students testified, all with similar stories, all traumatized, all scared. Former teacher Jennifer Clark testified. White, mid-30s, quit 3 years ago. I tried to stop it once. Rebecca went to Bradford. He told me if I wanted to keep my job, I'd remember who paid my salary. The diversity students weren't those people. What did you do? I quit. I've regretted my silence every day since. Marcus testified as an expert witness, explained what segregation does to developing brains, psychological impact, long-term consequences. These children internalize that they're inferior, unworthy, that their existence is a burden. It affects academic performance, mental health, their entire sense of self. He looked at the jury. My daughter told me she wished she could disappear. Stop existing because existing meant taking up space she didn't deserve. That's what Riverside did to her. The defense called no witnesses. Evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, damning. The jury deliberated for 4 hours, guilty on all counts. Sentencing came 3 weeks later. Rebecca stood before Judge Martinez. Black woman grew up poor, fought through a system designed to stop her. Mrs. Kensington, you targeted vulnerable children who trusted institutions to protect them. You weaponized your position to inflict maximum psychological harm. Pause. Let the words settle. 5 years in federal prison, no early release. Lifetime ban from working with children. $1.2 million restitution. Rebecca collapsed. Guards caught her. Bradford received 3 years, $800,000 restitution, lifetime education ban. 3 other administrators received probation, careers over, reputations destroyed, civil case settled, 22 million from insurance, 8 million from Riverside liquidated assets. But money wasn't the victory. Transformation was. Riverside fired the entire administration. Hired Dr. Sophia Washington, black woman, 25 years fighting for equity. Within 1 year, 40% of students of color, real diversity, real integration, real change. Cafeteria renovated. All premium seating removed. One community space renamed Elena Morrison Justice Hall. Congress passed the Educational Equity and Transparency Act 8 months later. Journalists called it Elena's Law. Required all private schools receiving federal funds to report demographic data. Seating arrangements, discipline rates, resource allocation, everything is transparent, monitored. Violations meant immediate funding loss. Federal investigation, criminal prosecution. Within 2 years, 47 schools self-reported violations. 12 lost accreditation. 3 closed permanently. The Department of Education created a national hotline. Students reported discrimination anonymously. Trained counselors responded. Federal investigators followed up. First year, 3,000 reports. The problem was bigger than anyone imagined. Netflix produced a documentary. Lunchroom Justice, The Riverside Case, Emmy winner required viewing and education programs nationwide. Footage of Rebecca's arrest played on loop. Her words, actions, collapse, a cautionary tale in high definition. Elena appeared at the end. 14 now. Confident strong. What happened to me happens to thousands of kids every day. My dad had the power to fight back. Most families don't. That's why Elena's Law matters. It gives everyone that power. The documentary ended with a call to action. Website movement. Students across America sharing stories. The silence was breaking finally, completely, permanently. Rebecca Kensington became exactly what she feared most. Not a symbol of standards and excellence, a symbol of shame, of hatred, of everything wrong with institutions that claim inclusion while practicing exclusion. Her name would live forever, but not the way she wanted, as a warning, as a lesson, as proof that justice, though sometimes slow, eventually comes for those who hurt children. 3 years later, Elena Morrison stood in a podium in Riverside Academy's auditorium. Not the scared 12-year-old who ate lunch in corners, a confident 15-year-old who changed the world. Valedictorian, perfect GPA, Harvard early admission with full scholarship. She looked out at the audience. Students, parents, media, her father is in the front row. 3 years ago, I wanted to disappear. I thought if I could just be smaller, quieter, invisible, maybe the pain would stop. Her voice carried strong, clear, no hesitation. My father came to bring me lunch. Just lunch. A simple surprise. Instead, he discovered I was living in hell. And he had a choice. He could have taken me home, transferred me somewhere else, made the problem go away quietly. She paused, but he didn't. He chose justice not just for me, for every child suffering in silence. The audience erupted in applause. Elena waited for silence. Rebecca Kensington is in prison. Principal Bradford is banned from education forever. The system that protected them is dismantled. Elena's Law is changing schools across America. She looked directly at the camera. But the work isn't finished. 3,000 kids reported discrimination in the first year after Elena's Law passed. 3,000, that's 3,000 families who needed my father's power to fight back, who needed federal law to protect their children. Her eyes blazed. Discrimination thrives in silence. It dies when we speak, when we document, when we refuse to accept that cruelty is normal. Elena stepped back. Marcus joined her on stage. They stood together. Father and daughter, warriors. Marcus took the microphone. I came to bring my daughter sandwiches, turkey and Swiss, extra pickles. I left with evidence that destroyed careers, that changed laws, that transformed an institution. His voice softened, but I failed, too. 7 months. Elena suffered for 7 months before I knew. Before I saw that failure haunts me. He looked at parents in the audience. How well do you know your child's daily reality? Not what they tell you, what they actually experience. The humiliations they hide, the pain they carry, the dignity they sacrifice to protect you from worry, silence, heavy, uncomfortable, true. Go to their school unannounced. Eat lunch with them. Watch how adults treat them. Watch how other students treat them. Don't trust brochures. Don't trust promises. Trust your eyes. Marcus held up his phone. This device recorded 28 minutes that changed everything. 28 minutes of evidence. That's all justice needed. He pointed at the audience. You have that power, too. Document, record, report. The national hotline is 1-800-ELE-LAW. Anonymous, confidential, action guaranteed. Elena returned to the microphone. Riverside is different now. Dr. Washington transformed this place. The cafeteria that broke me is now named for me. The corner where I cried is gone. Everyone sits together. Everyone belongs. She smiled. Genuine, radiant. I love this school now. That's the proof. The girl who wanted to disappear now stands here proud. That's what real change looks like. The auditorium stood. Applause thundered. Phones recorded. This moment would go viral. Was already going viral. Marcus and Elena walked off stage together. Past the spot where Rebecca once stood. Past the office where Bradford made his calls. Past the cafeteria entrance where everything changed. Outside, news crews waited. Marcus gave a final statement. 3 years ago, I witnessed injustice that left me speechless. Today, I'm not speechless anymore. None of us should be. When you see wrong, speak. When you see cruelty, act. When you see children suffering, become the adult they need. He squeezed Elena's hand. My daughter taught me that she survived. She thrived. She transformed her pain into power. Every child deserves that chance. The cameras captured it all. This would play on every news channel, every social media platform. The story that wouldn't die because it shouldn't die because thousands of children still needed rescue, still needed adults who wouldn't look away. Marcus and Elena drove away from Riverside, the school where her nightmare began, where justice prevailed, where hope rebuilt itself from ashes. Elena looked at her father. Dad, do you think we really changed things? Yes, but not enough. Not yet. Then we keep going. We keep going. The car disappeared down the road toward whatever came next, toward more fights, more victories, more children were saved. Because one lunch visit changed everything. One father who refused to stay silent. One daughter who refused to stay invisible. One moment of courage that shattered decades of cruelty. Now it's your turn. Share this story. Let it spark conversations. Let it make people uncomfortable. Let it force examination. Subscribe to Blacktail Stories for more stories where justice wins, where the powerless gain power, where wrongs are righted. Follow the movement. Join the fight. Be the witness who doesn't look away. Most importantly, answer these questions honestly. Where are the Rebecca Kensingtons in your community? What segregation exists that everyone pretends not to see? When you witness injustice against a child, what will you do? Will you look away and let it continue? Or will you be the person who changes everything? Your answer matters. Your choice matters. Your courage matters. Because somewhere right now, a child is sitting in a corner eating lunch alone, believing they deserve it. What will you do about it?